So your exhibition, Napoli under Petersen, is on view at the Spot Home Gallery in Naples. And it displays around 60 shots, 60 photographs you took exclusively in the city of Naples.
Only for Christina or for the gallery, yeah. Because I was invited by them, and they wanted me to go around and see what I can see, and so I made a kind of portfolio around 140 pictures from my stay there. I stayed 2 times. One time, 2 weeks around, or 10 days, I don't remember, in May last year, in May. And the second time was in October, November, with Halloween and everything last year. Yeah.
So had you already been in Naples, or it was your first time there?
I had a workshop there 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So I have been there. Yeah.
Okay. And what was the feeling you had with the city and the people you met there? The feeling.
Oh, the feeling was, this is something that I very much connect to as not only as a photographer, but as a human being, because everything is so vital. Everything is so, it's so much energy in it, and I also connect to the confusion and the chaos and the warm and very, very quick kind of communication between the people.
Yeah. And you're often attracted by chaos, by this situation. Yeah.
Absolutely,
It's not the
yes.
first time. Yeah.
No, it is no. Now this is that's good, the chaos has good vitamins many times.
Yeah.
For sure.
During your entire career, your approach was very intimate. You get so close to the people you photograph, you almost invade their private space. So, did you do the same in Naples?
No, but I'm not invading anyone. I call it touching distance. I want to know what I am shooting. I want to know what I'm talking about. I don't want to go around like a voyeur around the bushes with big telelenses and click, click, and click. Now I want to meet the people. I want to take some risks. I want to be close. I want to feel them. And you can't feel them if you're 10 meters away. You have to be like that. Or not, that is too much, but perhaps like that. If you look at my pictures, they are kind of close. I don't think, and I don't want to enter the privacy of the people, really. I just want to be close and get to know them a little. And that's also a way to get to know the city, and also to get to know yourself.
Sure.
So there is a kind of a balance,
Yeah.
between me and the gentleman I am shooting, or somebody else, a dog. A dog is not only a dog. A dog is alive and has a soul. And you have to go down on your feet. You have to be close to what is happening.
And since you are so close, what is the reaction of people when you get so close to them?
I think it's so far it's kind of okay. So far, this is what I think. But people are
go ahead, please.
they are almost always so very, very, very appreciating and kind and very, yeah, and very curious.
Curious, yes, of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
who am I? Why am I standing here suddenly? What? And then I try to explain, we try to communicate. My Italian is, of course, not so good, so I had very, very nice help. Thanks to Massimo. Massimo um, was a fantastic man who helped me to translate, and to walk. He walked together with me in the street sometime. He was walking on the left side, perhaps, and I was walking on the right side, and we had eye contact. So, and
Okay.
then when I saw something I would like to take a picture of, a family or something, with a dog, or then I just did like that with my hand. Yeah, and then he understood. He has to translate. Yes.
Okay.
So he went over to my side of the street and tried and started to translate. Yeah.
Okay, so people know, they're prepared, so they're informed about what is
Not always. No,
not always.
not always. Absolutely no. No, you can't. You can't talk to everybody. No, you are taking so many pictures. I mean, in uh, half a day or in the mornings. I mean, when there are many people out and they go to work, there are many people. They are busy also because they are supposed to be in time for work. So I can't stop them and say, "Hello, please. What's your name?" I don't want. No, but then I'm just taking pictures, but in a decent way, I hope.
Did you occasionally spend time with your subject and leave some
Yeah.
important
uh,
situations with them?
uh,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Weddings, funerals, uh, dinners, parties, Halloween parties.
Yeah.
Last year, I will never forget that. That was a big one. Jesus, they
I
love.
would like to ask you exactly this because I got a selection of images from the press office, just a few, of course, and
Yeah.
I saw a shot portraying a little girl, and it made me think that you took part in a wedding because she was dressed like she was
Okay. Yeah.
in a dress
It's
in a
true.
wedding.
It was a wedding, yeah,
Yeah.
outside Naples, in Naples, but a bit outside. First, we started at 7 o'clock, I think it was, yeah, and then we went to the lady who was going to marry. We went here, and I took pictures of her dressing, with the wedding dress and everything. That was very, very nice. And then we went to the church with a gentleman, the husband, and they married, and I took a lot of pictures there. And then we went out to a big area, a big space where the dinner was, a big dinner, and it never
Never
stopped.
end. Yeah.
Went on. It was unbelievable.
It's
And
typical.
dancing and shows, and at I think it was 3 o'clock, after having the biggest entrecote I have seen in my life at 3 o'clock in the night. We said to ourselves, because Christina from Spot Home Gallery was there also, and Massimo, they were we were a bit tired, because, and I was, especially me, I was quite tired, but I had a lot of fun, and many fantastic people, unbelievable. And then They started to eat after we gone. I heard. Then they were eating fish. After the meet, they were
Really?
stopped. Yeah, 4
After
o'clock
the
in the
entrecote.
night.
So now thinking about the pastry shop image, I'd like to ask you something.
The
What?
pastry, yeah.
Yeah,
With
you were in a
yeah,
bakery. Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And what would you say to those who think that the horizon line in a good composition should always be straight?
No. That's funny. No, it's silly. No, you don't. When you use your eyes like that, looking at someone, your eyes are never straight. Never. They are always a little bit like that or a little bit like that. That's how we meet, and all my pictures are a little bit like that. I want to be as spontaneous as I can. I want my pictures to be as close to my eyes as possible, And that's also why I have a 35mm lens. Actually, I would have, if I were more precise, I would have a 43mm lens, because that is exactly the way we see. We have a bit of a wide angle in our eyes, in our way of looking. But 35 is good. Then you can also go close, you can go closer and you know what you're talking about, That is very important for me.
What about contrasts? Because all of your images have a really strong contrast.
I have never thought about that.
Really?
Yeah, really. No, I never really thought about why I have contrast. Well, of course, there are a bit of a contrast in my pictures, but this time in Naples, I didn't think it was so much contrast. But of course, there are contrasts. But if you look carefully, you can see that in the black areas, you have dimensions, yeah? And also in the white areas, you have dimensions. It's not really poof white or poof black. It isn't. It's more balancing. But of course, if you're not used to it, or they are, of course, more contrast. Yeah. But I don't know the reason. That's your question. I don't know the reason. Perhaps that's the way I see it.
Yeah,
I've
you just driven by instinct.
Yeah, I have always been a little bit contrast, in my pictures from the 60s. But the only I remember, when I was in prison for 3 years, I was taking pictures in prison, and they are not contrast. They are very soft. I don't know why, but I didn't like it really. So then I went to a mental hospital and took pictures, and then I started with the contrast again. And I
Okay.
felt
So it was just an experiment. You didn't do it
no.
during the prison period, let's call it this way, but you didn't appreciate the results, so you went back to contrast again.
Yeah, it was too soft for my taste. Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to be straight. I wanted to be also poetic. I wanted to be a bit rough, but not too rough.
Oh,
Not
yeah, you said rough. So I have another question for you.
yeah.
Which photographers would you consider close to your approach to photography? There are some,
Okay.
yeah,
Can
maybe,
I tell you this?
yeah.
Photography is so much. You have a big tree, a family tree of photographers, and each branch has a speciality in photography. You have landscape photography, you have sport photography, you have war photography, you have big animal photography, woman photography, and everything, and documentary photography. But I think I can connect to a special branch who is kind of where I can see many other photographers also sitting there like small birds on this branch in this tree. And I can see Christer Strömholm, my teacher, and my friend also, I must say. I can see Ed van der Elsken, the Dutch photographer, who published a fantastic book called Love on the Left Bank. That was a long time ago, in the 50s, but it's fantastic. Yeah, I can see Robert Frank. I can see Ouija, Naked City from the 40s, 55. And I can see these lovely lady photographers, Lisette Model, Diane Gould, Diane Arbus, of course. Diane Arbus, Lisette Model, and Anne Goulding. These three, they are very close. And I think Lisette Model was the teacher of Diane Arbus also.
Yeah, she was. Exactly.
Yeah.
And what about Japanese photographers?
Yeah, absolutely. Daido Moriyama, for instance. He is a hero. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I asked you when you said rough, because I wanted to ask you, does are bure bokeh means anything for you?
Yeah. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, because,
yeah, of course. It's that expression is photo historic. It's belongs to photo history now, and they started in the 60s with that. And what they did at that time in Tokyo, mostly in Tokyo, was fantastic. I think unbelievable. And I have been following Daido Moriyama a long time. I mean, I saw him, I saw it. I saw the first book I saw of Moriyama was a catalog from an exhibition he had in California. I think in California somewhere. Yeah. And it was fantastic. The hair was on my body. It was unbelievable. It was my brother. I felt like that. Yes. The way he is using light and the lack of light and the compositions and the directness and the poetry. I mean, he is a genius. Not every picture is good, but it doesn't matter. In the whole, if you come to the end of the book is unbelievable. I mean, you're filled with it, and you go back, and and you see many, many pictures, and I've seen so many. I met him when I had an exhibition in Tokyo. I met him, and he's such a lovely man. Lovely, lovely man. Very humble. Very humble. And curious. And really, and a good drinker.
Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but in a good way.
He's Japanese.
Japanese. Absolutely. A good drinker. Japanese whiskey, with a lot of soda water, little whiskey and a lot of soda water. It's a long drink. Well, they are sitting like, Well, no, he is a maestro, and I I read a lot about him, and I read. He's a good writer, also. Yes,
Yeah, I know it.
he's a very good writer. Um, And now, I don't know how he is now, but he's still producing. He's still publishing pictures, books, I mean, publishing books. He has a foundation, who is taking care of everything. That is good, yeah. So he can have his income. Mm, so he's doing well. I hope. Now I think his birthday is in September 12, I think it was.
I don't know.
So now
In
he
this
must be,
case, I'm not prepared, but yeah, so
yeah,
yeah.
he must be 85, 86 years now. And he's fantastic. But then you have also Boris Mikhailov.
Mm-hmm.
Boris Mikhailov, now living in Berlin. Yeah, he is doing fantastic work. Mhm. Not nowadays so much, because I don't think he's working so much. He's more fixing exhibitions, and books of old pictures. And then also, of course, Michael Ackerman. I
Mm-hmm.
like very much. And I also like Antoine Dagata. Mhm.
Yeah.
I am a typical enthusiast. I like many photographers, actually. I like many, for different reasons. Ah,
What was your equipment for this Napoli project? What was your camera?
this one.
In your pocket?
Yeah,
A small
this,
one, of course.
this.
Okay. Do you always use this camera, or it was just
Yeah,
always?
it's 25 years I
What is
use
it?
it.
A Contax? I can see.
Contact T3,
Okay, T3.
mm,
That's right.
and 35 millimeter lens. It's a very sharp camera. And when I bought this one, it was very cheap, around 350 euro, but now it's 3,000 euro. This lights lens, very sharp. But
And
only,
did you use flashlight or just available
yeah,
light?
yeah, here. And
Okay.
then I use everything I can. And sometimes I use just half of it. I put my finger here. You see?
Oh, yes,
Here,
that's interesting.
half of it.
Why?
Yeah.
What's the effect of this?
That means very weak flash. Just a little.
Okay.
Especially if you're in a bar, for instance, and you don't want to have that. Just a little. And then you put your finger here, half of it, or even more. Mm.
Okay, that's curious.
That's very nice.
Trick.
It's tricky, yeah. Or you can put a handkerchief like this.
Yeah, I expected something like that because
Oh, yeah, but this
when you
goes
use
fast.
soft boxes, something that make
You
it,
don't have time. You
yeah,
don't have
fingers.
the fingers is poof like that. It goes fast,
Interesting.
and it has to be fast. The
Yeah,
way I'm shooting, it's very fast. Too fast sometimes, because I can't really see sometimes what I'm doing. But it doesn't matter.
yeah, it doesn't. So
No, no,
speaking of
no.
cameras, I'd like you to tell us a story because I
About
know you probably did it countless times, but I would be more than happy if you could tell our readers the story about the Cafè Lehmitz customers throwing your camera away and playing with it.
I was looking for some people I knew since before. And when you're looking for somebody in São Paulo is a very strong district, heavy one. And then if you really want to know something, you go to a special place called Scandibar, Scandinavian bar on Sailorstrasse. And then I went there. And it's a bar opening at around 1 o'clock in the night, open until 8, 9 in the morning, every day. For the people, mostly for the people who are working in this area as prostitutes, as strippers, and cabaret dancers, and whatever you can find. And they are going there, drinking, relaxing, seeing each other, being friends, and talking about old times, And then I went there and I met Gertrude. Gertrude was a nice woman I knew 5 years before. And he was not in the gang I was together with, but she was kind of an outsider. Yeah, she was. And I asked her to help me. Please help me, I said. And I'm looking for that and that man. No, they are not here anymore. She said that they are all dead, more or less. You die very often. you die very quick. Because you're up all the night and you're not eating healthy. You're drinking too much, taking too many drugs.
Yeah.
So it is not the best for the health. And she said she can't help me. But after 3 beers, she changed her mind and said, okay, we can see each other at Cafè Lehmitz, close to Zorgausmarkt, where the big statue of Bismarck is. And I had never been there, but I found out 1 o'clock. And when she says 1 o'clock, it's 1 o'clock in the night. Because during daytime, she's she's sleeping,
Yeah.
She's up during late, as all the girls there. And then I came there, but there was no Gertrude, and it was full of people, very good music. Very good. Really, Fats Domino, Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Stones, of course, and Junge kommt wieder by Freddie, and it was really something. And it was so thick of people, I couldn't imagine. I have never heard about it before. But now suddenly it was just in front of me. I couldn't even find a place to sit but I found a little small place and I put my camera on the table, and immediately there was a gentleman coming up to me and said, ask me. Yeah, he asked me, was this camera good enough? Yeah, I think so. It was a Nikon F. I think it's kind of okay. I have also a good one. I have a Kodak Retina 1C, he said. Yeah, that's a very good one, I said, because I knew that camera, yeah. And then we drank a beer to that, say toast, ching ching. And we continued saying ching ching. So after 3 beers, we went up to the bar and started with the heavy stuff, with the schnapps.
Yeah.
The woof. Yeah. And a beer, perhaps. And then some ladies came, very nice ladies, and we wanted to dance. So we were quite drunk at that time, and we were dancing. And suddenly I missed my camera. I couldn't find it. I wanted to take pictures of the girls because they were very nice and they were dancing and happy. It was very late, around 3 o'clock in the night. And then I saw my camera far away in the space, far away in the air. They were throwing the camera from one to the other, and taking pictures of themselves. Poof, poof. And then I was, so I was dancing in that direction, and I told them, it's my camera, so you have to take a picture of me. And so it was kind of logic, they probably they thought so. Yeah. So they took a picture of me and handed over the camera to me, but I didn't hand it over to anybody. I kept it and continued to shoot a little. But I was so drunk, so all my pictures, they were badly exposed because the exposure was from the day, not in the night, And I didn't have an expose meter at that time. I didn't have the money to buy one. I had one camera and one lens, a 35mm lens and a Nikon F, which was a good combination, I must say. It's a heavy camera, really good. So when you drop it on the pavement,
Yeah.
if you drop it,
you break it.
you don't break it. The pavement breaks. So I went on, and then Gertrude came 2 hours late, and she saw me shooting there, and she said, "Oh, you can continue." So I did that for 2.5 years. My first exhibition I had there. Yeah. I put up, I nailed, over the bar and over the seats. I nailed the pictures 24 by 30. That was the size. And almost 350 pictures, or even more. And we said, Kurt, who was standing behind the bar, we said that if there is someone who recognize themselves, they can take down the picture and keep it as a present. So it was a very short exhibition.
Because everybody recognized
After 4
themselves.
days, there were nothing left. No, just a little picture of me. That's all.
So what I wanted to know is, did you print those pictures taken by those people throwing your camera? No, just because the exposure was not fine.
The exposure was not at all good.
Yeah.
Everything was black.
Pity.
2 rows.
That would be.
2 rows absolutely black. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that happens sometimes.
What was the most important thing that you learned from the Cafè Lehmitz project?
That we are all a family, and that doesn't matter where you come from, the cultures you have, the religion you have. If you come from Italy or Tokyo or Hamburg, it doesn't matter. We belong to the same family. That's it. And my pictures are mostly for. I don't want my pictures to split up people. I want them to go together. I want togetherness. This is what I want. I want people to identify themselves with my pictures, or the behavior, or the feeling, the emotions in my pictures. This is important for me.